Elina stood at the post office in a long queue, the crisp autumn air seeping through the cracks of the door as falling leaves tapped against the glass outside. The scent of wet earth and cinnamon drifted from a nearby bakery, blending with the rustle of jackets and the muffled hum of impatient voices. It was a gray, chilly afternoon when suddenly the person in front of her collapsed with a heavy thud, their body slumping to the tiled floor. The crowd gasped, a wave of shock rippling through the line, and Elina sprang into action. As a lifeguard, she was no stranger to emergencies. She knelt beside the stranger, her steady hands checking for a pulse, her breath controlled despite the chaos swirling around her. Then, a gentle hand touched her shoulder. Elina glanced up and saw Lina for the first time. Lina's narrow eyes, brimming with concern, locked with hers, framed by a cascade of black hair that reminded Elina of the dense, shadowy forest beyond the town. In her hands, Lina held a small first aid kit, her posture calm yet urgent. "I'm a doctor, let me help," she said, her voice a soothing anchor in the storm. Elina nodded, and as their hands brushed while reaching for the kit, an electric spark seemed to jolt between them. They felt it instantly, a deep, unspoken connection, but the crisis demanded focus. Together, they worked with precision, stabilizing the person until paramedics arrived, their teamwork a silent dance of trust. As the stranger was wheeled away, Elina and Lina stepped outside, the wind tugging at their coats, scattering yellow and orange leaves across the damp pavement. Lina smiled softly, her breath visible in the cool air, and said, "Thank you for being there." Elina replied, "It was my duty." But Lina interjected with a gentle laugh. It was also bravery, her gaze lingering with warmth. Elina thought that might be the end of their encounter, but fate had other plans woven into the autumn breeze. Hours later, Elina returned to the post office, realizing she'd left her payment slip behind in the rush. As she stepped inside, the familiar scent of paper and ink greeted her, and there, behind the counter, she spotted Lina sorting mail with practiced ease. Lina worked here as a postal worker, a second job to support her medical aspirations strained by student debt. She looked up, her lips curving into a knowing smile. "Fate has tied us together," she said playfully, her voice carrying a hint of mischief. Elina chuckled, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "Maybe it's an autumn sign." Emboldened by the moment, Lina suggested coffee, and they slipped into a cozy cafe nearby. The air was thick with the aroma of roasted beans and cinnamon, soft jazz humming in the background like a heartbeat. They settled into a corner booth, the windows streaked with rain. Elina shared stories of daring rescues at the lake, saving a child from a riptide, the adrenaline of those moments, her voice animated with passion. Lina, in turn, revealed her journey to becoming a doctor, her eyes dimming as she spoke of financial pressures that forced her into this dual role, her dreams of a clinic on hold. A tentative awkwardness hung between them at first, their laughter over shared quirks, both admitting a love for rainy days and old books, melting it away. They found common ground in their resilience and quiet strength, a connection that felt rare and precious, like a leaf preserved in amber. Their bond deepened through late-night messages, texts filled with humor, vulnerability, and snippets of their days. Lina's wit shone through in witty one-liners, while Alina's warmth drew her in with heartfelt replies. One crisp afternoon, Lina invited Elina to a sprawling park, its paths carpeted with fallen leaves, the air misty and cool, carrying the earthy scent of decay and renewal. They walked side by side, Lina in a sleek black leather jacket, Elina in a worn brown coat, its collar turned up against the chill, their hands brushing with every step, though neither acknowledged it yet, the touch a secret language. The silence was comfortable, broken only by the crunch of leaves, until Lina stopped abruptly near a gnarled oak tree, its branches heavy with golden foliage. She turned to face Elina, her eyes searching, and whispered, "You know you saved me. Not just today, but from my lonely life." Elina's heart pounded, her cheeks flushing as she admitted, "I liked you from the first glance, too." The words hung in the air, a catalyst igniting the tension. Lina stepped closer, their faces inches apart, leaves swirling around them in the breeze like a natural curtain. In a hushed tone, she asked, "May I kiss you?" Elina nodded, her eyes fluttering shut, and their lips met under a sudden drizzle, the rain mingling with the rustle of leaves. The kiss was tender, charged with emotions that had simmered since their first touch, a moment that felt like the world paused to witness their union. But their love faced trials that tested its roots. Elina's parents, steeped in tradition, rejected her orientation, their words cutting deep as they pressured her to conform to a life she didn't want. She hid her pain from Lina, her smiles masking silent tears shed in the shower, until one evening Lina noticed the strain in her eyes. "What's wrong?" she asked gently, her hand resting on Elina's. Elina broke down, confessing the rejection, her voice trembling with sobs. Lina pulled her close, whispering, "I'll be with you no matter how hard it gets," her embrace a fortress against the storm. Inspired by Alina's courage, Lina decided to face her own family, but their response was harsher. Her father disowned her, slamming the door as she left with nothing but a backpack and a heart full of resolve. She arrived at Alina's place, her spirit bruised but eyes alight with determination. Together, they chose to start anew in a distant city, their love a beacon through the storm, a decision made over cups of tea as the wind howled outside. Life in the new city was a struggle, a canvas of hardship painted with hope. Elina took extra shifts as a part-time trainer, her muscles aching after long days spent guiding beginners through swim drills, while Lina juggled medical shifts with odd jobs like tutoring high school students in biology. Their evenings were spent in their modest apartment, a cramped space with peeling paint and a single window overlooking a fire escape, huddled under mismatched blankets scavenged from thrift stores. They dreamed of a future where Lina could open a small clinic, its walls lined with photos of their journey, and Elina could teach swimming full-time. One rainy night, with a leaky roof they couldn't yet afford to fix, they danced to a scratchy vinyl record, an old love song crackling through the speakers, laughing as water dripped onto the floor, turning it into a makeshift dance floor. This vulnerability wove them closer, a thread of shared imperfections strengthening their bond. They began writing letters, stashing them in a wooden box under their bed, a gift from a neighbor, filled with promises of love, plans for a garden with wildflowers, and hopes for acceptance from a world that often turned away. Elina surprised Lina with a hand-knitted scarf one winter morning, its uneven stitches a testament to late-night efforts by the dim light of a single lamp, symbolizing their enduring warmth amidst the cold. Their love faced external battles, too. Neighbors whispered behind their backs, their stares sharp as icicles, and a landlord once hinted they should find a more suitable place. But they stood united, their hands clasped against the world, finding solace in small victories, a shared meal of pasta cooked on a single burner, a walk along the river where the water reflected their dreams. One spring, they planted a small sapling outside their window, a fragile maple tree symbolizing the roots they were building together, its growth mirroring their love. They watered it with care, talking to it as if it could hear their hopes. Years later, as it blossomed with vibrant red leaves, they sat beneath it on a worn blanket, reflecting on their journey, every scar from harsh words, every kiss under rain, a chapter in their unbreakable story. They had built a life not just of survival but of thriving, their love a quiet revolution against the odds, proving that the autumn kiss that started it all was the seed of a love that would endure through every season.